Hello, everyone. My name is Jenny Birak, and I'm an astrologer and an energy healer. I work with the vibration of Archangel Metatron and bringing you these messages. And someone asked, a lot of people will ask, like, well, what does Metatron say about this or that? After I've been talking about something on a video, and I'm relaying to you what he's saying to me. When you're actually channeling, the energy comes into you and speaks through you, and I did do that as a child. I think it's just, I don't know, I think it's easier as a child, but now, and I have in private sessions done that as well, but when I'm talking to you on video, he's with me, and we are speaking, we're a united front is what he's saying. Like, he will add things. A lot of times while I'm talking, I'll say yeah or right because I'm answering him, and then I see it later on the video. I'm like, oh. But yeah, so I want to talk a little bit about timelines. My tetrahedron just took a tumble. But so if you look at the center, okay, that is you. And then you look at each of these circular all the way around, that is you somewhere else. And you somewhere else is then at the center of another, and it just branches out from there. Okay? My daughter was reading something to me about, somebody writing, it was like a multi-dimensional timeline shift. It can't be any other way. When there's a timeline shift, and right now we're moving into a new phase, the phase of a new one. And a lot of times when that is happening, even though we may not consciously realize it, we're feeling a loss because we saw what was going to happen if things had kept going that way. Or we perceive a loss. We perceive that we've lost something. I'm sorry, he's talking to me. We perceive that we've lost something or that we've given up something because we saw it play out in a different timeline, and now we see that it's going a different way. And he's saying that it's an exercise in trust. Okay? So I know that so many of you, and I have to say that I was a bit taken aback by the energies in the first couple of weeks of September. It has not been very easy, and I understand. I know that a lot of you, and just people that I hear from all the time, a lot of people are dealing with big shifts and changes, things that have gone to the wayside, and just all kinds of challenges. I've got a family member, that's why this video is a bit late. No, Metatron says it's right on time, but I was busy with a family member this week, and just, finding it really, it's not so easy for so many people right now. So just remember when that's going on to not be hard on yourself and just allow yourself space to recover. I mean, all of us need that at some point. All of us need to go into a little bit of a recovery stage. And we're still in the Virgo season, and Virgo relates to the Hermit and taking some time out to sort things through. So we're going to talk today about the full moon that we have coming in Pisces. Pisces is ruled by Neptune, and Neptune is in what's called a conjunction. It's very close to this full moon. At full moons, we associate a lot with revelations when something is illuminated, because the sun and the moon are standing, if they're facing one another. And so the sun shines the light on the moon, and then something comes to something comes to us. And Neptune we associate with spirit and our intuition, dreams, visions. So, or any way that we commune with spirit is covered by Neptune. And the sign of Pisces also relates to the original wound of separation when we believed that we left source. And I actually read, somebody wrote that at one time we were all, a part of source. The illusion is that we've lost that because we come down here, we begin incarnating, and we forget. We put on the DNA suits and we start playing out these stories with our parents right off the bat, and we forget who we really are, and we believe that we are separate from source. And the lower Pisces Virgo energy is that we have to earn our way back to the creator. But the higher vision of Pisces, and Pisces is always about taking the higher vision, and seeing that we're all interconnected and woven together through the creator's pure love for us. The higher vision of that is that Pisces bringing heaven to Virgo earth. Okay? And so we're going to talk a little bit about that full moon, and I'm going to try to keep this a bit brief. So we've got it's at 11:32 p.m. in Chicago on Friday the 13th, and that's 5:32 a.m. on the 14th in London, and 2:32 p.m. in Sydney, and that's a 5, and that speaks to change. And that's a part of that reason is that we are moving into a new period, and we'll begin to shift our focus. We have the equinox that comes right at the same gateway. The post that I made was for 9/9, if you want to check that out on the community tab. And it talks about, like, this is what the period that we're moving through right now as we deal with, the shifts that are coming with the full moon. And then as Saturn moves forward, and shortly after, just a couple weeks later, Pluto also will begin moving forward. So, but definitely with Saturn is closer. It's not a personal planet, but we feel the stationing of Saturn, and that's already beginning now. I'm making this on September 11th, and so you can feel that now. It'll be stationary at the time of the full moon as well, and you will definitely be feeling that. And Saturn relates to respect, confidence, stability, steadiness, a firm foundation, our structures, and it gives us an affirmation of progress. So expect that with the full moon, as we're still in the energy of the full moon on the 13th, and Saturn moves forward on the 18th, expect that you're going to have something come up related to that. It could be issues of authority. It even can relate to the family, because we associate Saturn with the father, but also like the structure of the family and the patriarchy as well. So we can expect a lot of issues to be coming up with that. And Metatron wanted me to read the Sabian symbol for this. Is happening at just 2103 of Pisces. So we look to the next degree for the Sabian symbol. For those of you that don't know, each degree of the zodiac, the 360 degrees, relates to they channeled a lot of different people throughout. I'm not going to mention just one person because this is a Dane Rudger interpretation, but a lot of people have been given psychic interpretations for each degree. And so Metatron made sure, it's so funny, I was walking into my office to make this video, and my printer started going, and I was like, because I thought I was holding this already in my hand, and I had shut the laptop when it was printing, and I just walked into the office and the printer started going and it was printing the full page. I went and looked at it and I was like, what's that about? And then I saw the one that I had that I thought was the full printout, and it was just half. So yeah, my life's pretty magical. I'm pretty lucky with that. And that's not anything special about me. That's just because when you recognize that the universe is speaking to you, you'll see that it is always speaking to you. It doesn't stop once you recognize it. In the birds, in things that other people say to you, the time on the clock, the license plate in front of you. And so that's when we're the Pisces, the higher Pisces, is when we're always communing with the creator, right? With all that is, all the butterflies And we'll get into it more when I make the video, The Expression of God in relation to Metatron. So I'm reading for Pisces, the 22nd degree. A prophet carrying tablets of the new law is walking down the slopes of Mount Sinai. And it relates to the need to bring down to the level of everyday existence the clear realizations made manifest in a great, quote, peak experience. So it's when you have those, the revelations that come from your higher self, from spirit, and implementing them. Okay? Virgo, Pisces. Virgo's where we implement, we put into practice, we bring to the earth everything that we know, okay, from our higher selves. And the Chandra symbol, Omega symbol, relates to being distracted as you're trying to then implement. And that goes with Pisces too, where we can get kind of just caught up in daydreaming or la-di-da kind of story. So it's important now. And I know, like, we talked so much the last video about how this was the time to start moving. And it was kind of like a slow start. And now once Saturn moves forward and still Pluto is going to go forward, I see like full swing in this new energy, like moving forward with gusto kind of thing, is what he's saying, like late October. Okay, so I know that's not a lot of fun for people to hear, but that's the way that we're working with the energies that, it's always in the creator's hands, okay? And, how these timelines sync up. Thank goodness it's not up to us. You can't just be like, I don't like this timeline, I'm going to go jump into another timeline. Doesn't work like that. You can look at yourself in another timeline and you can like see the future from where you are right now. But a lot of times we don't see the extended version of the future because it's being made. Every decision that we make and we're co-creating our future and with our free will choices. And I think he's wanting me to mention that too, that I've seen a lot of people lately talking about that there isn't free will. And I know that there is a practice of astrology that doesn't believe in that, subscribe to that teaching of free will, but your script is not like late, already done for you. You are creating your future with the creator of all that is, with your soul family. And you are bringing in the dream, Neptune Pisces, that you would like to see come to fruition on the earth. You get to do that. And we're not just here to heal and to learn lessons or to take orders. A lot of people say, I'm not going to do anything until I know exactly what I'm supposed to do. What do you want to do? No one's up there telling you what you're supposed to do. That's our choice, what we'd like to do. What brings you joy? I always told my kids, find what brings you joy and then figure out a way to make money doing that. So when we're talking about a full moon in Pisces is the water sign. It's the deep emotion, the ocean, and it can be quite emotional. We're spared a little bit in that this is called a micro moon. So the moon is very far from the earth. And so we may not have an overwhelm of emotion, but it is with Neptune, very close to Neptune. And it's also with Black Moon Lilith and then Nessus, which relates to the ending of a karmic cycle. It can also relate to abuse. And this full moon is in what's called a sextile with Pluto. And a sextile is it's a 60-degree aspect that shows where there's a choice to be made. So, and Pluto relates to abuse of power, yes. Pluto, in a more personal sense, it relates to things that are in the psyche, in the depths of the psyche, that we don't want to look at, that we kind of we blind ourselves to because we don't really want to deal with that. And because it's in a sextile, I believe that probably a lot of us are going to find out that there are things that we believed we had released and let go of that are probably still bothering some aspect of ourselves. And just whatever it is that's hidden from you. Pluto relates to secrets. And so Pluto and Neptune are both retrograde, but with the full moon, I believe that we're going to find out a lot of things that we have been missing information about. Especially because Mercury and Venus are together and they're in another, it's not a Ptolemaic aspect, but the way that they're an aspect to the full moon and Pluto shows that there'll be some sort of revelation that comes forward. Again, it might relate to a partner, something to do with money, and also maybe something that you see in someone else that you didn't recognize in yourself, and then you'll have like an aha moment with that. But this is a wonderful time to be having dreams come in. Metatron was talking about people taking the time to journal, because a lot of times you'll get messages from your higher consciousness while you're journaling, or from spirit, and things that maybe you hadn't recognized as you're writing, they just come out and you're like, oh my goodness. But Neptune, and he wanted me to hope this is going to show up. Yeah, that's pretty good. The Vesica Piscis. This is Neptune and the Pisces story. It's you and the Creator as one. It's like when you look at when there's three, it's like ourselves in the physical, the Sun, the Creator, the Father, and then the Holy Spirit, Metatron, or your higher self, the energy of our higher consciousness. Just look at that, and you can I want you to maybe try to memorize what this looks like and envision yourself becoming one with the Creator in that way. You always are. It's just that we get swept up in the illusion. And so, but I want to just let everyone know, because I didn't forewarn because I did mention that Chiron was going to be an aspect with that new moon, but this could bring up a lot of emotions. Okay, so just give yourself time to release those. It's always good to have a good cry, and have a healthy emotional release when this kind of stuff. Otherwise, we go like this. All of a sudden I'll realize like, oh, my shoulders are touching my ears. And that's another thing that he wanted me to address, was that Pisces is about the divine feminine and receptivity. And when we are in a place where we feel stressed out, or we feel pressured, or we're listening to a story of fear or what's gone on in the past, then we aren't in that open, receptive, allowing, is what he's saying. That's why he had me write in that post for the 9th that we are reception. He didn't even say receptive, it's reception. That that's our feminine aspect, all of us. And I know so many women who have trouble with this too. This is not a male-female issue. This is all of us. That we are, when we're in that place of fire where we're trying to just go forward no matter what, and we're, like this, like, gotta get that done, then we're not in that receptive place where we're allowing help. Be open to help from the soul family. If you have things going on in your family, that most likely is a reflection of what's going on in other places, or, in the illusion that we have with the soul family in different planes of existence. But, always being open and cognizant, aware of what is your root chakra doing when you have your time of meditation. what is your root chakra doing? Is your root chakra open and connected into the earth? Can you feel the Creator's love coming up from the earth and filling your heart, filling your solar plexus? That's a wonderful thing to do and a good check-in to have every once in a while in meditation time, making sure that you're open and receiving it so that you're grounded. We're still on the 21st going to have the final Jupiter Neptune square, where this year we've had that all year of getting carried away with things and not maybe being grounded or not feeling that we have stability. Don't forget that Jupiter and Neptune both rule mutable signs, and mutable signs, which Virgo is also one, is about change. And that's why, as we move out of the Virgo season, anytime that we come into a mutable sign, it's when we're wrapping up a season. The cardinal signs come next, and they're when we start a new season. So, and when we move into the fall equinox, we'll be in Libra. That's a cardinal sign on the 23rd of September, and then it'll be more like initiating. So I just want to see sorry guys, I had to start this video again because I had to take a call from somebody while I started the first one, and now I'm trying to remember what I've said and what I haven't said so that I'm not repeating myself. So when I talked about the full moon sextiling Pluto and what we're holding on to or not, Pluto is when we hold on and we won't let go of something. It's a lot of times it deals with resentment, guilt, regret because of Neptune being involved. So there could be a lot of that. Maybe schedule yourself your own little healing time for 15-20 minutes that day. Make a list of what you'd like to release, and just, if you want to do that yourself, you just close your eyes, just envision the light coming down and pushing. I see a lot of times in healing sessions even roots, icky roots stuck in chakras, and just witness that all going out the bottoms of your feet and being drained into the earth in order to be transmuted. And then we may have been dealing with issues of authority, of confidence, of respect. And I honestly don't remember if I've said this in this video. I hope not. As Saturn has been in his retrograde, he will move forward on the 18th. That will be a very happy day. I know a lot of us are feeling that oppressive energy when Saturn comes to station. And then he'll go direct around the 18th. It depends on where you are again, and we can feel that. So we'll feel a relief, definitely, when that moves forward, probably around the 20th. And when we come into the 21st, we'll have that Jupiter Neptune square. And so that's fire and water. And at the time of the full moon, we'll have Mars opposing Neptune. That's also fire and water. Neptune also relates to oil, and Pisces relates to oil. So we'll see how that plays out as far as like globally. And I know that all of you, I've been posting on Facebook in Australia, thinking of everyone going through fires. I know still with Alaska and California as well. Fires have been an issue. Metatron has been talking about a wave. I'm not sure if that's metaphysical or if that's, something that he's bringing. I have seen many times the giant wave coming. He's also been talking to me about being in the spin cycle. And that's just, it's like, that's Uranus actually, but with water. So we'll see how this plays out like globally. But remember that, all of the planets are in Earth, in Virgo. Mars is in Virgo opposing Neptune. So that's fire and water. And then that also will bring up that story of separation, because Mars is the self. And the difference also, the delineation he's talking about between the ego self and the higher vibration of self and the creator, the spark of creation that we all carry inside of us. And I want to mention that Pluto will move forward October 3rd. I said that. So he's talking about now this being a time, right, just as we'll still be in the full moon energy as Mercury and Venus move into Libra. Okay, and Libra, it opposes Aries, so it's the reflection of the other. And I'm glad that I have an opportunity to talk about this, because this just saves so much heartache for people. Remember that what you see in another, the light in me reflects the light in you, and the shadow in me reflects the shadow in you. And when you see something in another that you believe could be tweaked a bit, or you wouldn't have done it that way, or you make that judgment, you're actually talking about yourself. And when people have done things that wound us and we hold on to that, it's because there's something in us that we weren't, and that could be part of the Virgo story, where that's something that we needed to go through in order to learn humility, because it was something that we hadn't perfected in the past. And then that's usually given to us, dealt to us by partners, someone in our soul family. And so we want to be cognizant when someone says something to you or offends you in some way, or you're triggered at all by anyone, that is not their story. That's your story. Okay? Angels, a lot of times people will tell me like the angel said this or this to them about the other person. Angels never will talk to us about another person. That's just not true. They don't violate our privacy like that. They certainly don't gossip. That's when we're hearing an ego version of an angelic. But that's not, and that's you. I'm saying there isn't an ego angel. I'm saying like it's the way that we're hearing it, the way that we're filtering the information is not through the energy of pure love. And so just be aware with all of the other things going on that you may see some reflections in someone else that you don't like. And you can just release that and let it go, or ask the Creator to show you how that relates to you, or why you're judgmental of it. That's a good way to ask it. You'll save yourself just so much trouble. Once you realize that whenever I see something in someone and I think like, oh, well, I'm like, oh no, because I know that that's me. So, and that's really growth, okay? A lot of people have yet to master that. The world, we would all be at peace with each other, and we would finally realize that we are all the same, and we'd be able to connect and to relate to one another if we could just see that the reflection coming back to us is actually ourselves and not other people. So that's the Libra energy, and that will begin on the 23rd. And Mercury and Venus, though, will shift into Libra on the 14th. And so it's time to listen to some music, some harmonizing, be open. He also mentioned new friendships and relationships coming for all of us from people in the soul family that maybe we haven't had a chance to meet yet. Or, any kind of new relationship or new work. It's a good time to start new work. A great time, though, for music. If you write music, if you play music, it's a really inspired period for you. And but the equinox energy then on the 23rd will still be in the energy of that Neptune Jupiter square. So we want to be careful not to get too overpromise people, but it is an energy in the higher vibration. It's optimistic, and it's looking forward to the future and the expansion of consciousness, and releasing attachment to the illusion. And remembering, Metatron was also pointing out that as the timelines shift a lot of times, and I've been going through this too, we feel like we did something wrong, like we missed something, and so that's why things are playing out this way. And so he was reminding me of that today, and to remind all of you that everything happens exactly in divine order, is what he's saying. No one can ever miss out. You can't ever be out of alignment with you can't miss a divine timing, because that's impossible. Things are going to play out. And if you've been had a detour, let's say, because you wanted to have a different experience, you can always come back to maybe not the same path, but you will end up at your destination regardless. It may just come a different way, you know? So just allowing yourself to let go of any stories where you failed, or any fear, or any just being in a place of gratitude. I know with Saturn in this period, a lot, and especially with Virgo and Venus being in Virgo, there's a lot of people are having issues of money come up. So being open to gifts and blessings and benefits moving forward is what he's saying. And that our soul never steers us in the wrong direction. And that if we are headed down a path, that something will happen that will cause us to change direction. A lot of Tower energy still out there. So just be cognizant of that as well. Really taking time to ground yourself so that you can feel that feeling of safety. Then being in a space where you're receptive and you're receiving. When you do that grounding work, allowing yourself to feel safe and held by Mother Gaia and through the Creator's love that courses through the earth and all of creation, feeling it coming from the walls and the pictures and the floors. Everything that's around you holds that same vibration. If you see shadow and everything else, guess what? That's most likely your story. That's how you can check in with your frequency and raise your vibration. Is just, I don't know how to, you just choose to rise above seeing the shadow and see everything as light and coming into you. And remember that the Creator and that all that is always conspiring to bring forward the dream that you have and your happiness and your joy. And if you need help or direction in what it is, the vision for your life, or if you don't have one, that's a Neptune issue too. Ask the Creator to bring you the divine inspiration so that you're able to move forward in this energy as well, and to bring what you dream to life. Someone asked me about, how I mentioned sometimes about work, and what if you're retired? When we stop creating, when we stop using the creative fire within us, then part of us starts to die. So regardless of whether or not you're doing something for a living, anything that you're doing to create happiness and joy and to bring a vibration of joy into your heart and satisfaction and contentment, that's how you can apply this. Whether it's not just working for a salary, it's whatever you're doing that you enjoy it. And if you don't so much enjoy your job, asking for the Creator to bring you a new path, a way to get on a different path. Maybe not changing direction, but just trust that a member of your soul family is there for you and wants to help you. That's why we're all here together, right? So I just want to make sure that I'm not leaving out anything else. No. And hopefully I'll be talking to you. I'll have some time to talk to you next week. I've got a lot of stuff going on too, you guys. And not really my business to share, more with a family member. So I don't really want to divulge any of that. But I'm with you. I think of you guys, and I send you love, and I send you support. And I want you to know that I understand that this is not so easy. And I don't mean to come across like, I'm not. But it's always important to see from the higher perspective and to live in joy and appreciate every day. That's what's so wonderful about music and being outdoors, is that you really, get a sense of. I always used to say to my kids, when I would point at the sky and say how beautiful it was, I would say, God could have made that any color, but instead He wanted it to look beautiful for you. And that's the truth. Appreciating the beauty all around us all the time, right? All right, guys, I hope that all of you are doing well. Hang in there. Nothing new to report with the classes. It's just not the right time. So, it'll be ready, or, it'll be time when it's time. But he's actually adding some more teachings that we're just not ready collectively at the time. And so I'm going to be making another video to go with it, and it's probably going to come out right about the same time as the Expression of God, the Metatron video, comes out. So alrighty, everybody, take care. Sending you so much love and hope, and I'll talk to you next time. Bye-bye.